Adelaide's own West End 36ers host the Melbourne Tigers, languishing second bottom with only 3 wins. But only last week, the Tigers bit the Bullets in the upset of the year, defeating defending champions, the Brisbane Bullets. For the Tigers, Andrew Gaze heads up the National Basketball League scoring average, shooting 35.6 points a game at a conversion rate of 53%. Teammate Paul Stanley looms as the other main threat to the 36ers, as he and Gaze between them have amassed 63% of the Tigers' total score this season. For the 36ers, the mercurial Al Green is in fantastic form, and his drives to the basket are a pleasure to watch. Tough rebounder Mark Davis should dominate under the boards and allow the 36ers to run their fast break, and that means exciting basketball action.
One.
Happened.
It's a cousin. My apologies there. And number 11, Nigel Purchase. At the tap, it'll be Bill Jones against Paul Stanley.
It's the West End 36ers in the white uniforms winning the tip, attacking the basket on the left against the Melbourne Tigers in the red uniforms. And on placings on the premiership ladder, Andrew Kay, this should be a David and Goliath affair.
Well, one would think so. The Melbourne Tigers only won 3 games as Davis scores the first 2 points of the match. The Melbourne Tigers have only won 3 games of the season, but those 3 games against Coburg, West Sydney, and believe it or not, last weekend against Brisbane. So they can play basketball.
I think we're going to see a really tight defensive game against their main 2 scorers in Andrew Gaze and Paul Stanley. Those 2 guys really are threats. We see that Al Green is already lining up on Andrew Gaze. Andrew Gaze number 10, Al Green wearing number 15 for the 36ers. And Green will be trying really hard to cut Gaze out of the game because he's scoring 35 points every time he comes onto the floor, and that doesn't matter if he's just playing in the NBL or playing for Australia.
Gaze did some great work as the foul is called on Bill Jones, as we see Nigel Purchase drive to the basket. You'll see Nigel Purchase there, takes the dummy, then goes for the drive, and Bill Jones just gets all tangled up inside his arms. So Bill Jones has the foul called on him. As I was saying, Andrew Gaze was a prolific scorer for the Boomers, the Australian team in the recent World Championships in Spain. In fact, in the game against Israel, scored 37 points, and so we expect to see some great things from him. This team was beaten by Perth last night, but without number 4, Paul Stanley, the American, who was also a prolific scorer for Melbourne. Stanley was sitting out due to suspension as Pearce attempts the 3-pointer. Bit offline, Jones a big rebound, underarm misses, but Davis backs up. Lovely work, Bill Jones and Mark Davis.
And that's where the 36ers are going to win this game. They're going to be too strong on the rebounding, on the boards, as we call in basketball jargon. The Melbourne Tigers have just got no one that can go with the 36ers on the rebounds, and unless the Tigers hit a very good percentage, the 36ers are going to run into their fast break because they can pull down the defensive rebound, and down at the other end of the floor in offense as they are now, they're just going to pick up the crumbs if the outside shooters don't hit.
Well, Andrew Gaze scores the first points in his battle against Al Green, just being successful with that three-pointer. We're going to see some great shooting from Andrew Gaze tonight. He's number 10. Number 11 is his older brother, much shorter brother, but older brother, Mark Gaze. Number 12 is Nigel Purchase, as Al Green this time makes a big three-pointer. So the Adelaide 36ers, the West End 36ers shoot away to a 6-4 lead. It's Andrew Gaze with the ball now, gives it to Nigel Purchase. Another good crowd here at the Apollo Stadium as Stanley attempts the shot and makes the shot. So Melbourne sticking with the West End 36ers early. The scores are tied away at 6 points apiece with just under 10 minutes to go in the first quarter.
It's going to be really interesting to see how the 36ers do run the ball into offence. We see a bad pass made there, and I think that could be one of the only ways that the Tigers could win this game if the 36ers become too complacent in offence. Oh, that's a lovely drive and handoff. But unfortunately, Dave Clements was intimidated there by Jones and Davis, and the 36ers come away with the ball. But it's down this end of the floor that I think the Tigers won't be able to hold the 36ers.
Yeah, well, I see you said earlier that this is where the West End 36ers will win the game. I won't go that far. They should win the game. They are by far a much classier side than the Melbourne side, but any side that is capable of beating Coburg, West Sydney and Brisbane is capable of playing good basketball. Obviously they don't do it consistently, but they obviously are a good side that is going to attempt and test a lot of sides. There's a lovely pass there into Nigel Purchase. In fact, gives Melbourne now the lead 8-6.
And the 36ers defence is not looking as tough as it should be. The Tigers are really doing as they like. Al Green with the spin off the glass for two.
Hasn't Al Green been in great touch in the last couple of weeks? We saw him here at the last home game where he blitzed the opposition with something like 37 points. And just in the last couple of weeks, he's really started to play his own attacking style of basketball. Gaze to older brother Mark. Looking to set it up again, Melbourne. Purchase now, Andrew Gaze. Melbourne side coached by father Lindsay, who was the Australian and Olympian coach for quite some time. Something like 1972 up until the Australia Games last year, as Daryl Pearce attempts the basket and makes the basket. Lovely shot from Daryl Pearce. Now it's Melbourne again looking to set it up. Ball with Stanley, props and puts up the shot. No mistake from Paul Stanley, and Paul Stanley and Andrew Gaze are the two that'll keep Melbourne in this game.
4 points to Paul Stanley. And the 36ers again lose the ball in offence. They don't look good in their offensive movement, Andrew. They haven't settled down. They're not creating the loose man as Melbourne are. You'll see that when they come down the floor, they like to set a few screens to get the loose man. As outside shot taken there by Purchase. Here's the fast break, Davis.
And we're seeing things that we don't normally see with the 36ers. Firstly, a fumble by Davis, and then the pass wasn't perhaps the best to Daryl Pearce, and the ball just went off the fingers. So a couple of turnovers early on in the game for the home side, but they're a good side. They're top of the NBL ladder. Only lost the 2 games for the year to West Sydney and Coburg. This time the shot from Mark Gaze. And Melbourne looking pretty good early on.
Well, what's happening is that Melbourne are passing the ball around, setting some screens, getting somebody free, and every one of these Melbourne players can put the ball in the hole if they get free. Whereas at the other end, the 36ers are making one pass and one shot.
Shot missed there from Mark Davis, and again it's Melbourne coming away through Andrew Gaze, who stops for the three-point attempt but misses. But another pass intercepted by him on the way through, so that was good play, Gaze, but then again bad play as he loses it, and now it's Al Green, 1-on-1. And the foul called on Mark Gaze.
I can't really believe that foul.
No.
Al Green with the left-hand dribble, he switches across to the right hand, goes all the way in, and then lays the ball up with the left hand, and I guess there was possibly a little bit of incidental contact on the arm.
Well, Al Green given the benefit of the doubt, so he's at the foul line. Makes it with the first one. That takes the West End 36ers to 11. They trail the Melbourne A&A Tigers on 12. Al Green makes it with the second and levels the score.
6 points to Al Green.
So 12 points apiece in this game as it's Mark Gaze. Gives the ball off to Purchase. Al Green blocking Andrew Gaze at the baseline. So they bring it out through the top of the key again. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Scores locked together. Crowd been fairly quiet tonight. as Purchase attempts the drive and then the pass. Neither is successful as the ball goes out of court.
And that's really good defence there by the 36ers, because as the Tigers made their cut, the 36ers were changing their defensive player. As Darryl Pearce shoots with a three-pointer, Peter Aloy battles underneath, but it's Andrew Gaze. And he's the man that the Tigers will be relying on. Looks to go all the way, and the ball, I think, has gone out of court. I think the referee said that the ball went out of court and off of Peter Aloy's hands, and so they regained possession from the side. Paul Stanley shoots with a three-point attempt, and it's almost tipped in there by Purchase, but Mark Davis has pulled down yet another rebound.
Al Green with the pass to Aloy. Peter Aloy that brings the crowd to life. Peter Aloy, one of the favourites of South Australian basketball. And now an interesting foul call. Was it called on Aloy? Yes, it was. Referee Ian Turner judged that Peter Aloy was in motion when he was hit by Paul Stanley, and so the foul called on Aloy. Now it's Andrew Gaze again.
And the Tigers are shooting 71% from the floor as opposed to Adelaide's 55%, as ball comes off Adelaide 36's hands, so the Tigers regain possession from the side.
Lovely pass into Andrew Gaze. Perfect pass from Mark, his young older brother. And Andrew Gaze makes no mistake. That's 5 points for Andrew Gaze so far in this game. And we're about halfway through the first quarter as Bill Jones drives and makes the basket.
Beautiful shot, Jones. You just notice how he reached out with that long arm and just rolled it off the end of the fingers. And that's known in the game as a finger roll.
Now it's Melbourne again to set it up. They trail by 2 points. Stanley sells the dummy and drives all the way. Nice work, Paul Stanley scores again. That's 6 points for him. And already it's shaping up as he and Andrew Gaze to do most of the scoring. Good work again from Mark Gaze there, who intercepts the Darryl Pearce pass. Stanley again behind the body. Will he drive all the way? Yes. And a lovely block from Bill Jones, but unfortunately doesn't come to a 36ers player. And so Melbourne will set up again.
And Coach Gaze up on his feet, complaining that was basket intimidation. Andrew Gaze still competing underneath with Green, and the 36ers come away with the ball. 3-on-2 as carrying the ball. Decision called by Ian Turner, the referee that resigned in a blaze of glory and has now come back tonight. So we have a timeout, and we'll go down and see what Ken Cole for the 36ers has got to say.
The number of mistakes you guys are making is bush league. Push the ball down, but when you get it down, if there is no break, you can score on these guys every single time. Be tough and disciplined with your offense. If the break is not there, punish them. You're letting these guys play the game they want to play. They don't even have to play D. They can't play defense on any of you if you use the ball right. You just got to move it right. Dwayne.
So Ken Cole not very happy with the way his players are running their offensive movement. They have to show more discipline, be prepared to spend a little bit more time passing the ball around and creating a good percentage shot. But they are shooting 64% from the floor, and Melbourne are shooting 58%, and yet another strong defensive block by Bill Jones as Andrew Gaze leaps out of court and attempts to throw the ball from the third row. The 36ers now have the opportunity to see if they can put into practice what the coach has just told them, settle down, run around and make them work hard on defence.
Substitution made by Ken Cole during that timeout. Number 20, Dwayne Nelson on the court. There's a lovely drive from Mark Davis, sold the feint again. Number 20, Dwayne Nelson on the court for Peter Aloy, who's now back on the bench. As Melbourne go to set it up, a lovely pass from Gaze into Stanley, and quick call there from Ian Turner. And the foul is called on Bill Jones, and gee, from up here it looked like he had his hand fully and squarely on the ball, but Ian Turner decided no, there was contact with the body as well. Bill Jones now has his second foul call on him. It's Paul Stanley on the foul line for Melbourne, looking to tie the scores.
7 points to Stanley.
Stanley successful with both. 18 points apiece. 4 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And this game hasn't really developed into the fast-breaking game that I would have expected to develop as far as the 36ers are concerned. And good work there between Nelson and Jones. The old throw it into the high post and then roll down the line. That's where the ball goes into the man standing at the top of the key, and then the player on the weak side just cuts towards the basket and receives the pass. But it's Andrew Gaze, hotly guarded there by Al Green. Al Green determined not to allow that high scoring, and you see a switch as the screen was set. Stanley from outside. Good rebound by Jones again. Almost a steal there, and in fact it is. That's good effort there by Paul Stanley. He came in, chased the ball after Jones had pulled down the rebound and forced the error.
Stanley's done some good work for Melbourne early on in this game. Be interesting to see what Melbourne's bench strength is like. Coach Lindsay Gaze has yet to make a substitution as the shot is attempted by Dave Clement, makes the 2 points. So once again, Melbourne tie the scores, 20 points apiece. And I wonder sometimes, Lynn, whether we in fact expect too much from the West End 36ers. We've seen them play some great games this year. Haven't seen them lose at home yet. And when they're being tested by a team like Melbourne, not getting beaten, but tested, I suppose it's easiest. We see an interception there by Stanley, who attempts to drive all the way, and a great drive by Paul Stanley. And he really is taking this game by the horns.
Well, in this first quarter, and we still have almost 3 minutes to play in this quarter, Adelaide have thrown the ball away 8 times. That's a turnover, is where the team with the possession of the ball loses possession without having an opportunity to take a shot. And they've thrown the ball away 8 times. Melbourne have only thrown the ball away twice. And statistically, of course, the more times you have a chance to actually have a shot, the better chance you've got. As Al Green shoots from outside and hits, that's 8 points to Al Green, and that takes the 36ers along to 22 to level the score.
Well, that's what the crowd wants to see. I'm not so sure that that's what Ken Cole wants to see. I know he wants to see it go in the basket, but he wants to see them use the ball as they've been doing all year and look for the perfect shots. Ken Cole just sitting there quietly with his assistant coach Don Shipway. Foul called on Al Green, so it'll be Andrew Gaze at the foul line.
And you can expect Al Green to pick up a couple of fouls there. As I said earlier, you'll notice that when Andrew Gaze receives the ball, he looks to come off the screen, and the screen is where somebody sets themselves in a position to allow the player with the ball to attempt to run his defensive man into his teammate and so get free. And what the 36ers are attempting to do is, with Al Green guarding Gaze, either squeeze past the player, push his way through, in which case there could be a foul, or the other defensive player can help out and they'll switch. And that means they just exchange their defensive men, and that means that there needs to be a lot of talk from the players so that everybody know who they're guarding.
Well, other than early in the season when Mark Davis had an ankle injury, I can't remember a game where Ken Cole has substituted him so early in the game. Still not quarter time, some 2 minutes to play in the first quarter as Dwayne Nelson scores to level the scores again. But Cole has made a couple more substitutions. Mike Mackay on the court, another foul on Al Green. And are we going to see the West End 36ers in foul trouble tonight?
Nice pass, Al Green not quite in defence on the baseline, and a beautiful spin there by Gaze. He just dropped that foot back, made front position. I doubt whether there was a foul to be called there, but certainly there was a bit of incidental contact. Gaze had the opportunity to go all the way to the basket without question, but that's just good play by the offence.
Once again, the West End 36ers looking to set it up. Mike Mackay attempts the shot, misses, looked confident, not good enough. So now Melbourne have made a substitution. Ray Gordon, number 8 on the court. He gives off to Gaze. Gaze looking for Stanley, but gives it back to Gordon. Back to Gaze outside the 3-point line. Purchase looking for Gaze underneath. Lovely shot from Andrew Gaze, up and under. Just puts it in the basket. And Melbourne testing the West End 36ers all the way. They're in front, 26-24.
And the difference between the two teams, as you can see, as we see Al Green going one-on-one. He goes all the way, and there's 1, 2, 3 players there and there's the obvious arms foul. But that is the difference between the two teams. The 36ers are going one-on-one and individually driving to the basket, creating their own opportunities. Whereas at the other end, the Tigers are prepared to throw the ball around, do some work without the ball, setting screens to create opportunities for their teammates.
You know, Lynn, I can't remember the last time the crowd was so quiet at a home game here. You know, we're used to thunderous noise and applause, but tonight, every time the side gets tested, the crowd goes pretty quiet. As Stanley, lovely drive to the basket and makes 2 points. That's 12 for Stanley. Not quarter time yet.
I think the difference between the two teams, if we could perhaps draw the analogy to a tennis game, the 36ers are playing like a McEnroe. They're prepared to chase everything and really go for it and perhaps take some risks. And the Tigers are playing like a Bjorn Borg, who just sits there and don't make any mistakes.
And you have to add that the Tigers have shot extremely well. As Nelson puts up a shot, Jones hooks out the rebound, but it comes straight to the Melbourne Tigers, and Gaze, what's he going to do? Just gives off to Stanley, but and a foul called on Al Green. Just came up behind Stanley, and that's trouble for the West End 36ers. You'll see the pass come out here from Gaze to Stanley as he's running down the court, and then Green tries the steal. The umpire ruled that he also made contact with Stanley. Foul number 3 for Al Green. He's off the court, on the bench already, with Mark Davis, with Daryl Pearce, with Peter Allo. You don't see that too often. Stanley makes the first, and the Melbourne Tigers shoot away, 29-25.
Certainly Bill Jones, the only opening lineup player for the 36ers, remaining on the floor, and Al Green with 3 fouls before the quarter time break. Well, that could spell trouble for the 36ers, but they do have a great bench and a lot of depth on the bench. Mike Mackay shoots, misses, and there's Jones from outside, and at quarter time it's 30 points to the Melbourne Tigers, leading the West End 36ers on 25.
David, you stay with Gabe.
So it's Jones and Stanley in the tip, and Ray Wood comes away with the ball for the 36ers. 5-point deficit at quarter time. Mike Mackay drives all the way to the basket, and Jones over the top with a great rebound. Scores to take the 36ers along to 27, and was fouled in the action.
Well, the crowd calls for the foul as Mike Mackay drives to the basket. Jones goes up to the rebound, then you'll see the hand, just the touch there from Nigel Purchase. Jones successful with the bonus shot. So it's a 2-point ball game now.
5 points to Bill Jones.
Melbourne Tigers surprise leaders. The crowd in fact stunned at the performance put up by the Tigers. Been a good performance, great performance. Attempted steal there by David Spear, but not successful as the ball just dribbles out of court. So it'll be Melbourne once again to look to set it up.
I think with the 36ers personnel that are on the floor right now, they could really match up in defence with the Tigers. The 36ers people, David Spear and Mike Mackay, Ray Wood, are all very patient people. Jones with a great rebound, and they're prepared to be a little bit patient and run with the Melbourne offence, stick with them and make it harder for them to get free. I think it's a good job by Coach Ken Cole. Well,
it's certainly going to be a great test for David Spear in defence as Jones attempts the rebound. Nelson comes out with it. Called foot violation on the Melbourne player. So Adelaide retains possession. But David Spear going to have a real test. He'll be guarding Andrew Gaze in defence. It's a lovely pass into Nelson, but he fumbles the ball and eventually loses it. Calling at the referee to make some call. I'm not sure what sort of a call he wants.
The Tigers are the sort of team that when there's a loose ball, they'll all dive at it and throw their arms out and snatch and grab. Overhead pass. You'll see that pass attempted a lot tonight. You see there that Nigel Purchase attempted the lob pass in underneath to Andrew Gaze. That's one of the things that the Tigers try to do on a regular basis. Didn't come off on that at that time, but I'm sure that they'll attempt it again, and it will. Michael Mackay misses again. And another rebound there, Andrew Gaze. He's certainly doing it all for the Tigers, Andrew.
Yes, I mean, I suppose I don't want to be cruel, but the guy doesn't look much as a basketballer, but he's got every skill there is to have in the game. He's an uncanny shot. He's got a tremendous eye. He's got a good leap. He's not a short player, as he's looking to drive all the way and draws the foul. So the 36ers in plenty of foul trouble tonight.
Watch here. There's the drive to the baseline. David Spear just not able to cut off that baseline. Bill Jones comes across to help out, goes up to contest with the ball. Perhaps should have been stepping back towards the baseline to take a charge. But Jones just questioning why the foul was called here, I think. Andrew Gaze, good with that shot.
That's a 10 for Andrew Gaze, and now 11. And a player of his calibre, you don't expect him to miss from the foul line. Someone who's leading the averages in the NBL this season. Has an average of 35.6 points a game. This time a travel called on the 36ers. And they're in a little bit of trouble. They're 4 points down. Bill Jones has 3 fouls. Al Green has 3 fouls. Mark Davis is not in foul trouble at this stage. As Melbourne scores again.
14 points to Paul Stanley.
And I think any second now we'll see Mark Davis come back on the court as Ray Wood attempts the three-pointer, misses. The rebound's left to Jones, he misses. Well, the crowd really stunned by this performance from the West End 36ers, or perhaps stunned more by the performance from the Melbourne Tigers. As we said last week, they beat Brisbane as Gaze scores again. Andrew Gaze having a party out there, 13 points for the game.
It's a little bit unfair to have David Spear guarding Andrew Gaze. Oh, that's a nice handoff, but the foul was called then on Andrew Gaze, the man we're talking about, because young David Spear gives away so much height to Andrew Gaze. In fact, if I was Lindsay Gaze, I would throw Andrew down into a low post and just throw the ball into him so he could get a nice easy turnaround jump shot in close to the basket.
Well, we've seen substitutions now made by Ken Cole. Davis back on the court for Bill Jones. Pearce is having a bit of a fight down there with Ray Gordon. As Spear attempts to drive, Nelson over the top for a big rebound and gets a jump ball out of it. So it'll be Dwayne Nelson and Dave Clement in the tip.
And the 36ers have thrown the ball away 10 times. They've had 10 turnovers to the Tigers on 3 only. So the Tigers had the opportunity to score 7 more times through just bad errors.
So once again it's Melbourne now coming away with the ball. Ray Gordon with the ball. Guarded by Daryl Pearce. Daryl Pearce just back from Spain, also as a member of the Australian team. Nigel Purchase trips over his own feet, appeals for the foul, doesn't get it, and another substitution made. It's an interesting move from Ken Cole. Al Green on 3 fouls, comes back onto the court. David Spear takes a breather. 36-28, the West End 36ers trail by 8 points in what's been a very good performance by the Melbourne Tigers here tonight. Pass from Pearce back into Mackay, who turns, twists, doesn't make the basket. Davis says, "Oh, well," and just grabs the rebound, puts it straight back up.
That's 10 points to Mark Davis, and he has just got to take control on the boards, on the rebounding duels. Just get in there and do it all. And there he goes again. I think he's going to really go to town in this quarter. He's going to do everything he can to just get the ball and do it myself. He said the rebounding duels aren't working out as we anticipated. Adelaide have pulled down 11, Melbourne 5, and I would have thought that the difference would have been much higher than that.
Pass into Green, but fumbles and loses possession. So the Melbourne Tigers will take it again from the side as soon as they find the ball up.
And that goes down to another turnover.
So it's Ray Gordon waiting on the sidelines to take the ball from the side. A very good performance here from Melbourne so far. They've almost caught the West End 36ers napping. And they're looking to score again, setting it up. It's with Andrew Gaze. Stanley calls for it and now eventually gets it. Couple of steps. Misses the long pass to Green up against... Oh, misses. And Al Green will not do that. Once in every 100 times would he miss a gift like that, and it becomes a foul on Dwayne Nelson. So not much going right for the West End 36ers.
Here's the shot, Stanley feeds the ball inside there, up goes the shot, and you can see there that Dwayne Nelson comes straight over the top there of Dave Clement, clearly makes a lot of contact around the shoulders, forearms and head, and Dave Clement has the opportunity from the free throw line.
And Not a very confident looking shot from Dave Clement for his first attempt, but his side is leading by 6 points. Still leading by 6 points as the ball comes out with Mike Mackay, 2-on-1. Mackay decides to go it alone, misses but draws the foul. Stanley arguing with the umpire.
Nice move, Mike Mackay, with the right hand, grabs it in two hands, there he goes and leans out with the ball. You notice his arms are fully extended, and because he was in front of that player, if the defensive player was going to do anything, it was definitely going to be a foul. So Mike Mackay with the opportunity from the free throw line, makes the first, and that's his first point for the game, and make that 2 points to Michael Mackay, the 36ers along to 32 points, now trailing by 4.
And the 36ers now with a press on the court. Each player has his own player to watch. They push the defence right out. Stanley now with the ball, guarded by Nelson. Stanley attempts the shot and misses. Mackay should pull the rebound. The long pass out to Pearce, over to Nelson. Nelson up and under, very easy basket, good pass, Daryl Pearce. So the West End 36ers now make it a 2-point ball game. They're trailing 36-34.
Just see this time how, there it goes, to see Andrew Gaze just using that screen nicely, getting free, and Al Green caught on that screen, and they're going to have to do something about that, or Andrew Gaze is just going to continue on his happy way. That's 15 points now to Andrew Gaze, and the 36ers have to stop that man.
Don't they set the screens up well? This Ray Gordon is starting to not endear himself to the crowd. He's in fact carrying on like a schoolboy. A couple of minutes ago he was pushing and shoving with Pearce. Now he's thrown the ball back at the West End 36ers player. And Ian Turner just saying, listen, I'm running this game, not you, pal. And in fact Lindsay Gaze has dragged him. And probably deservedly so, because the guy ought to have more brains than pulling a stunt like that. Just got a little frustrated, lost his cool, and unfortunately the coach can't handle a player who loses his cool, and it's cost the Melbourne Tigers 1 point so far, as Mike Mackay is successful with the first and misses the second. 3 points the difference. Melbourne leading 38-35.
Nigel Purchase, the last person to touch the ball for the Tigers. So the 36ers have an opportunity to bring the ball in, reduce that deficit, which now stands at 3 points. And perhaps we might see a full court press from the 36ers.
They're ready to start giving up buckets. Play loose and relax. Look, take nice deep breaths with yourselves and run our offense the same as if it's a training. Be ruthless, and defensively, that's where we've got to be tough. We've got to help out, and we've got to get the boards. They're very, very susceptible to the fast break, okay? So if we can get control of the boards and kick it out, we can get the break. Everybody relax a little bit. Be loose because it's changed, and now's our time. We want to come at them as hard as we know how for the rest of this quarter and get away, okay? Defense is the key. The D's the key. Come on now, let's go. Now get these after we make this press them.
Well, you heard the instruction there from Ken Cole. If Michael Mackay makes this foul shot, if the team makes a basket on this offense, then the whole team will get up with a full court press. They'll extend the defense all the way up the floor.
6 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the first half as Green hands off to Mackay. Well, there's the basket, so let's see the full court press. Green's got Andrew Gaze. Daryl Pearce comes up to take Mark Gaze. Mike Mackay has Nigel Purchase. Dwayne Nelson's got Paul Stanley. The attempt from Andrew Gaze misses. A long pass to Green, not a good pass. Can't control it. And another turnover. So Melbourne lucky to get out of that. As Gaze takes it from the side, gives it to brother Mark. Melbourne looking to set it up again. They lead by 1 point. Stanley, lovely pass into Mark Gaze. Pearce comes in from behind too late. Gaze makes the basket, 2 points.
It's 4 points to Mark Gaze.
Certainly hasn't been Melbourne's worst player tonight. Melbourne have played very well and played as a team.
Yeah, they haven't made the mistakes, Andrew. They've been very businesslike in their approach. There's a hands foul. And because the Melbourne team are in bonus, Mark Davis should go to the foul line. And we see Dave Clement there. arguing with referee Ian Turner. He's not prepared to give up either. He'd like to have the last word. So Mark Davis now has the opportunity from the foul line. 3 points in favour of the Melbourne Tigers.
I suppose it shows just how good a side the West End 36ers are, Lynn. They can play fairly badly and only be trailing by 3 points as the long pass comes down to Stanley, misses, but a lovely tap in from Dave Clement, and that had the desired result. 42 now Melbourne, leading by 5 points as Daryl Pearce has the ball outside the 3-point line. The pass goes into Nelson, but he loses it, and Melbourne come away again.
That's 13 turnovers. That's too many mistakes from the 36ers.
Purchase looked like a travel to me, got his own rebound and a foul. So Melbourne continue to dominate this game. You see the lovely drive there from Purchase. Pearce gets the foul there on the rebound as Purchase put in his own rebound, misses with the bonus shot. And I suppose, Lynn, I can ask you this question as you're on the committee of the West End 36ers. There's been plenty in the press in the last couple of days about coaching positions. Is it having an effect on the side tonight?
I can't see what should have an effect on the side because there has been no discussion whatsoever by the 36ers committee about next year's coaching position.
I just wonder whether, well, as you say, there's been no discussion on the committee to that effect. Are the players aware of it? Are the public aware of it? Because there's certainly been, the press haven't let up on it. There's been articles, interviews everywhere. There's a long pass this time from Mackay. Green misses again, I don't believe it. This time makes it with his own rebound and gets the bonus shot with the foul. You see the pass now, comes down for Green. He misses, unbelievable miss. Then Green decides, got my rebound, I'll go again. The big hands come over from Nigel Purchase. Green made the basket and is now on the bonus line. But that, I don't believe that, Lynn. That's twice tonight I've seen Al Green miss what is normally a big dunk and a highlight of the game.
Yes, the team is certainly very lethargic. Perhaps they haven't psyched themselves up for the game as well as they could, or I think we also have to appreciate that Melbourne just aren't making any mistakes. They've only had 3 turnovers to now, as that's 10 less than the 36ers. They've shot very well, they work very well without the ball, and they're very business-like in their approach. As I said, they just don't seem to make the mistakes, and that's probably how they have beaten Coburg, Brisbane and West Sydney. And West Sydney, as we know, is the only team to have beaten the 36ers this year. Dwayne Nelson with 6 points takes the 36ers along to 43. So it's the Melbourne Tigers by 1 point with just under 4 minutes left to play to the halftime interval.
I don't think the West End 36ers are in any great trouble as yet, but the fact that they haven't been able to shake Melbourne away. In fact, Melbourne's still in front by 3 points. Melbourne have passed so well as Mike Mackay misses with the shot, but Davis, strong rebound. Great rebound, Mark Davis. The crowd appreciates his strong work under the basket. But every time the West End 36ers score, Melbourne just come straight back and put it in the bucket. Stanley with the ball. Paul Stanley been a prolific scorer for Melbourne all season. Now Mark Gaze. Mark Davis just got his fingers to that ball. Melbourne have been able to find Andrew Gaze all over the court, particularly just under the basket. This time the shot from Purchase as the home side fights for rebounds. Green does good work to get it over to Mark Davis. Daryl Pearce in a very quiet game so far as Green gives the ball back out. Pearce attempts the shot. That's not so quiet from Daryl Pearce. That's a much better basket.
So the 36ers hit the front, 47, leading the Tigers on 46.
2 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first half. Can the 36ers sustain the lead until half-time? Ball lost by Purchase, not impressed, but won't change the umpire's mind as we see timeout called. With the scores, the West End 36ers 47 leading the Melbourne Tigers 46.
You go to Gaze for a while for me, okay? And you go to little Gaze, number 11. Hey, that's the way to push the ball down the floor. I know we've made some mistakes on it, but at last it's loosening up and you're starting to look all right. Push it and run, but convert on your defence every time. Good job, Dwayne. You keep going at this kid with a hand at him, and it's a good switch that last one. Okay, they're bringing in Grass for who? Who had Purchase? Number 12. Okay, switch up. 5. You go to 5, and you go to the 7-foot kid, okay? Now, they may go to a zone with him in there. If they don't, then we want to be able to isolate and mark. So you want to throw the ball and turn it over, and you want to get the ball back in. To mark, okay. Watch who you line up with. Come on now, dig now.
So you'll now see a substitution on the defence where Andrew Gaze has previously been guarded by Al Green. Ken Cole is switching Mike Mackay, number 10, to guard Andrew Gaze. So we'll see how that matchup works. I think it should work very well. And we see a substitution, Peter Walsh, affectionately known as Grasshopper in basketball circles, number 15, represented Australia a number of times, and he should be no match at all for Mark Davis. I would expect Mark Davis to give this kid a bath.
Well, let's just mention that Peter Walsh happens to be 7'1", or in modern English, 214 centimetres. He's 32 years of age, been around for a while, and in fact I've heard it said that he is one of the worst players ever to get a green and gold singlet. He's played for Australia. Who said that? I don't know, Lynn. Is Davis successful from the foul line? And the scores now, the West End 36ers 49, leading Melbourne 46. The ball with Stanley. Gives it back to Andrew Gaze. He won't get any rest tonight, Andrew Gaze. Daryl Pearce guards Gaze on the baseline as Stanley tries to drive, one hand up. Davis the rebound, eventually comes to Pearce, 2-on-1. Mackay and Green, the pass to Green, makes the basket, didn't miss that one, and a 5-point break now for the home side.
It's 13 points now to Al Green, and you'll see how Peter Walsh can contest underneath with Mark Davis, because he just won't live with Mark Davis under there. That fast break will now come, because I think Purchase was doing quite a good job, but Walsh is just in no way near as physical as Purchase, and even to a lesser extent to Mark Davis.
Shot up from Mark Gaze, eventually comes out to Nelson. Green calls for it, got good hands to get his hands to that ball. It wasn't a brilliant pass from Nelson, but the West End 36ers retain possession.
And already you see that fast break opportunity coming from Mark Davis, starting to take control underneath the defensive basket.
Shot from Mackay successful, and the 36ers all of a sudden starting to look much better. 54-46. They've got an 8-point break. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the first half. Stanley looking, there's that screen again, doesn't use it, instead gives the ball to Andrew Gaze. Pearce on him. Pass comes, foul called on Daryl Pearce. Just a smile on his face, he knew that one was there. Ken Cole perhaps breathing a little easier, but still yelling instructions. The assistant coach Don Shipway just watching the proceedings. Walsh to Gaze. Now Stanley. And Walsh not good work. Fell asleep as Mike Mackay just lays it up. That was atrocious, Lynn.
Mike Mackay made very hard word of that. I think he thought he was a lot closer to the basket than he was. Normally on a fast break you make it 100% using the backboard, but Mike Mackay struggled in the end. But he was good, as was Andrew Gaze there. Andrew Gaze said that's now 17 points.
Shot from Nelson. Good shot from Dwayne Nelson. Successful with that. And a 10-point ball game now.
And hasn't Dwayne Nelson really come of age with the 36ers in the last couple of weeks, Andrew?
Oh yes, he's really improved out of sight. I have no doubt at all. He's always been a good player, but he was given the opportunity while Daryl Pearce was in Spain. And 3 seconds called. As I was saying, Dwayne Nelson given the opportunity in the starting 5 while Daryl Pearce was in Spain, took the opportunity and hasn't looked back. Pearce on the court now with the ball. 58-48. The home side leads. 18 seconds remaining in the first half. One good shot they're looking for. Coach Cole standing up. Foul called. And on Peter Walsh.
Davis will go to the line. It was quite clear that Davis was going to take that drive. Daryl Pearce handed the ball off and cleared out. Mark Davis had the ball all by himself on one half of the court just to work one-on-one against Peter Walsh. And Mark Davis was just going to try and take him in underneath the basket and go one-on-one. But Walsh fouled, and because the Tigers are in a bonus, that puts Mark Davis on the line. So that's 13 points to Mark Davis. Good rebound by Stanley, and the Tigers with 9 seconds left to play.
I'll be looking for one good shot here. Andrew Gaze calls for it, wants to do it himself, misses. The shot, rebound from Davis. No time for a shot for the West End 36ers. The half-time score. The West End 36ers 59, 11-point leaders over the Melbourne Tigers on 48. So the start of the second half, the West End 36ers 59 leading the Melbourne Tigers 48. But having seen the first half, it's surprising that in fact the West End 36ers are that much in front. As Pearce attempts the first shot of the second half, misses. Davis, a good rebound, a high pass to Pearce, who in fact mesmerises everyone with the pass, and it eventually comes to Stanley, who gets creamed as he makes the 2 points. He's looking for the foul. Ian Turner just tells him to get off the ground. The game's in progress. So Melbourne, the first 2 points of the second half. Been a fairly close game so far, all the way.
Yes, I think that both teams have been playing very good basketball. Both teams have done a good job defensively. In the second quarter, the 36ers lowered their error rate substantially and forced some errors from the Tigers. The Tigers increased their error rate and were outscored substantially in the second quarter, so that at half-time the 36ers could go in with a 18-point advantage.
19 points to Andrew Gaze as the foul is called, and Daryl Pearce will go to the foul line. Foul called on Paul Stanley, and that in fact is Stanley's third foul.
And Stanley, I thought, was contained quite well in that second quarter. He's got a personal tally of 20, 2 of which you've just seen him score, but he had a 14-point first quarter and was restricted to only 4 points in that second quarter, which put the scoring onus on Andrew Gaze. And as we know, these 2 players are the big threats.
Well, Pearce takes his personal tally to 8 points. Not a real fantastic game from him, but he's done his job pretty well. He's on Andrew Gaze at the moment. As Melbourne look to set it up again, the ball comes out to Purchase, sells a dummy, attempts to drive, but Davis keeps him out. The ball comes back to Gaze. Shot clock ticking away. Purchase now. Melbourne have to get a shot away. 6 seconds to go. Purchase puts it up, a little off balance, but makes the basket, the desired result. 63-54. West End 36ers lead. Jones misses with the shot. Davis too strong with the rebound. Should have the foul called on Andrew Gaze. It is. We see the shot come up from Jones, and just at the back there, Davis about to go up, and then the hands, Gaze just drags him down. Pretty clumsy foul that on Andrew Gaze, but it's only his second, so not a lot to worry about. As Davis makes the first from the foul line, 10 points the difference. 64-54, 10 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Davis successful with the second, so the margin the same as it was at half-time, 11 points in favour of the home side.
And Mark Davis has 15 points, and I expect him to really exert an influence on this game now. As Al Green, good hands, comes away with the ball and runs it into a fast break. It was a 2-on-1 fast break, and Mike Mackay shooting with confidence from outside.
Mike Mackay's coming into the game now as well. The 36ers in the last 5 minutes of the first half were nothing short of brilliant. Whilst they looked reasonably sloppy in the first 20 minutes, the last 5 minutes was brilliant. Easy shot there, missed by Dave Clement. Green calling for it very high, takes a great mark and draws the foul on Dave Clement. Well, you wouldn't have seen it in your screen, but Al Green just pointed his finger up in the air. You can't see him. He's out of picture now. There he goes, and up and takes the ball beautifully. And the foul is called on Dave Clement as he just comes in with the body, holds the arm away, but the body did the damage. The foul was called, and Green makes the first basket.
Wasn't that a beautiful pass, Andrew, from Michael Mackay?
Well, in fact, we've been saying all game how well the Melbourne Tigers have been passing, and all of a sudden the West End 36ers have remembered this is exactly how it's done. The passing is probably the most important thing. If you don't pass well, you can't get the players into position to make the shot. There's a turnover, another pass from Pearce to Green, back to Davis, but just a little bit over anxious there. Mark Davis had the head up before he had the ball in the hands, and in fact this can turn into a 4-point swing. It does. The 36ers lost possession, and in fact the Melbourne scored from that possession. So in fact that is why it's called a 4-point swing. Only resulted in 2 points, but they stopped the home side from scoring as Pearce attempts the long shot, makes the long shot. So the 36 are shooting pretty well in this opening of the second half. 71-56 they lead.
And that's Daryl Pearce, 10 points to his personal tally. He's lined up with Andrew Gaze. There's the screen. Daryl Pearce fights his way through. But there's a switch. Jones steps outside to him. And underneath, all by himself, is Dave Clement, who makes the easiest of shots underneath. There was a bit of confusion, Andrew, I think, with the defence there, and Dave Clement was able to get free.
Yes, even though it was an easy basket, he made it look pretty hard as Davis attempts the shot, misses. No, it doesn't. Bounces straight up in the air and pops down. They're the sort of baskets you're quite willing to take the 2 points, but you don't own up to the fact that that was how you scored them. Gaze again looking for the shot and makes it. Top play, Andrew Gaze. Makes 3 points. 12 points down his side. The 36 is Bill Jones looking to drive, and drives well. Miles above any other player on the court in the air as he made the shot. 14-point ball game. Gaze again with the ball, looking to drive all the way. Has the foul called on him, on Bill Jones. Ken Cole yells rubbish. You'll see the lovely take there from Andrew Gaze. Not much of a defence down there. He goes to drive all the way. Jones, well, gee, I don't know. I can't see the contact there, but it was there. And so Bill Jones has 4 fouls, so he's in a little bit of trouble. But a timeout called. The West End 36ers leading 75-61.
The man goes by, you use your feet. Al, you go back to Gaze for a while, okay? You come back to the other Gaze for a while, Daryl. Billy, you got 4. Come in for BJ. A quarter and a half to go. Come in, report in quick, report in now. Best I got you for the 4th quarter, not the 3rd. Mark, keep going to the boards. So you can take these guys. Dwayne, you'll play the feeder spot. They may look at a zone again now, okay, so be ready. But listen, just be tidy. Don't give it away. Be tidy with what you're doing out there. If they play a zone, he's in the low post and he's in the low post and you go to the foul line. Even Al can go to the line. Okay, let's go, men.
And if you're wondering why we're only listening to what Ken Cole has to say at the timeouts, our audio man isn't biased. The fact is that Lindsay Gaze, the Melbourne Tigers coach, doesn't want what he says recorded. I don't know whether that's because he fears that we may learn something from what he has to say, or he can't contain his language. However, it's his son we're interested in, Andrew Gaze, who's on the foul line and makes the first. 22 points for Andrew Gaze, now 23.
24 points.
In fact, 24 points, I beg your pardon. Substitution made by Ken Cole during that timeout. Bill Jones out of the game with 4 fouls. Dwayne Nelson on the court. Pearce attempts the shot. Misses. Big rebound, Stanley. Gaze was calling for it. A bit too slow. Didn't see him. Gaze still calling for it. Instead, it was Nigel Purchase who went all the way and left no defence at all. A long pass down to Al Green, and that's the slam dunk everyone else is used to. You see the Melbourne Tigers were caught flat-footed, a long pass into Green, and he just turned around and said, thanks very much. At the other end, Andrew Gaze just misses with the shot, and the 36ers away again. The pass was from Green to Pearce into Nelson. Nelson fumbles, ball comes out to Purchase.
Al Green certainly looking for that fast break. He's now taken his personal tally along to 17, and that's where the 36ers are going to take charge of this game if they can get on the defensive boards and run that fast break.
Purchase attempts the tap in. Ooh, that wasn't a foul I've never seen. One from Gaze on Mackay. Melbourne get away with 2 points. The crowd not impressed. And in fact, the tech foul now called. I'm not sure which player said what to umpire Ian Turner.
Daryl Pearce.
Looks like it's Daryl Pearce. And Andrew Gaze will go to the foul line. Technical foul. Pearce still arguing with Ian Turner. Let's just say he's looking for an explanation on why the original foul wasn't there. Turner, of course, doesn't have to give him one. And it's Gaze on the foul line. No justice there, save the fans, as Gaze makes the first.
25 points to Andrew Gaze.
Gaze been a top player tonight. Kept Melbourne in the game. Makes the second. So 26 points to Andrew Gaze. And that little incident might just get this crowd going. Another full house here at Apollo. Pearce attempts the shot, misses. Nelson comes out with the rebound, well blocked by Purchase. Pass over the back of his head from Pearce to Green. There's the answer. Took a while, but the 36ers finally got there, and it's full court press time.
And now Green doing it at the offensive end, but he's also been now given the task again of attempting to contain Andrew Gaze, which he doesn't. He gets wiped out on that screen. Andrew Gaze free underneath the basket, and a beautiful pass. And Andrew Gaze now on 28 points.
Andrew Gaze finds an enormous amount of free space. There's Mike Mackay coming into the game now.
Lovely turn by Michael Mackay to take him to 14 points.
Well, this really has been a good game. I don't suppose we gave it the credit it deserved, as Mark Gaze this time makes 2 points. Whilst in the first half there seemed to be a lot of mistakes as Mike Mackay drives all the way. Lovely drive from Mike Mackay. There were a lot of mistakes in the first half. Now Gaze looking to go all the way and makes it. No, he doesn't. Follows up for his own rebound. Ball goes out of court. Referee Jeff Weeks calls jump ball. Andrew Gaze and Dwayne Nelson. Crowd coming alive now. Substitution called by Ken Cole. Daryl Pearce off. Ray Wood on.
And Daryl Pearce not scoring as well as he has in recent games, which probably accounts for part of his frustration, as Al Green goes all the way and lays up 2 points for 21 points.
Beat 3 players. Great work, Al Green. A good tap from Dwayne Nelson on the jump, and Green said, I'll have it. Took 3 on, beat the lot. Stanley now sells a dummy. Almost draws the foul, gets his own rebound. No, the foul called. Everyone calls travel on Paul Stanley, but you'll see there sells the dummy. That's what the crowd calls a travel for. Gets his own rebound, and the foul was called on Mike Mackay or Dwayne Nelson. Bit confusing, that call. I couldn't see it. It's Dwayne Nelson, I suppose. It doesn't matter too much. It's only his second. Stanley at the foul line makes it.
It's 25 points to Paul Stanley. 7 points so far this quarter.
Only 11 points the difference, so Melbourne have done well. They've matched it with the 36ers as Ray Wood makes 2 points, 87-74. But Melbourne still in this game, pretty much thanks to the bloke with the ball now. Andrew Gay's been in dazzling touch all night, and dazzling touch all year, averaging 35 points a game. But it's Purchase now. Loses possession, the ball comes out to the new player, Peter Morse, loses it. Gaze won't miss, yes he does. And very nearly a foul call there.
And Ken Cole for the 36ers goes crazy calling for that foul as Al Green threads the needle, and the 36ers come away with the ball because Purchase wasn't able to control it. But certainly this game's now picked up a tempo, Andrew.
Oh, hasn't it? It's just shifted a whole new gear. In the first half we saw a fairly lethargic West End 36ers side just coasting and paid the penalty. They were getting beaten. Now someone said put it in second, and this game has come alive. Davis with the ball. Want to be careful. Sitting on a number of fouls. Misses with the shot. Davis the rebound, lovely pass to Mackay, no mistake. Mike Mackay clenches the fist and says that was one I wanted.
18 points, Michael Mackay, and I thought that was poor refereeing with Mark Davis there, because Davis was getting hacked and whacked, but because he's so strong and doesn't sort of flinch when it happens, the fouls weren't called, and I'm sure he was fouled 3 or 4 times. There it goes again, but this time they called the foul. And Mark Davis is saying, look, I don't care whether you call it or not. I'll spin with the ball. The ball comes inside. He throws the feint to the baseline. There it is. Takes a step, spins back to the centre, up for the shot, whack. But he's so strong that he's able to maintain the balance, put the ball in the hole, and here's the opportunity for the bonus basket, which he misses. And so it's the Melbourne Tigers running into offence. They're on 76 points. As up goes the shot from Purchase. We wouldn't normally see him shoot from there. And Al Green for the 36ers. Michael Mackay shoots from 2 points. And Michael Mackay, this is his quarter. He's now on 20 points. He's had 10 points for the quarter after not scoring in that first quarter.
And Purchase goes all the way. very much off balance as the ball comes to Mackay again. The long pass back into Davis. Davis has the shot blocked by Ray Gordon. But again, the ball knocked out of court. Melbourne will keep possession.
And again, Mark Davis not happy that the ball was hacked out of his arms and no foul called. But Adelaide are shooting 67% from the floor. The Melbourne Tigers are shooting 50%. As Andrew Gaze underneath, 30 points now. How does he keep doing that, Andrew?
Well, I just can't work out how he finds so much space. You see the shot comes up from the Melbourne player there, Nigel Purchase, and Gaze just standing there, takes the rebound, puts it in, has the foul called on him as well, and is now shooting for his 31st point. It's been quite an outstanding performance by Andrew Gaze, and yet a couple of years ago when he was taken away with an Australian team, he was criticised as given the trip by his daddy, so to speak, who was the Australian coach, and in fact didn't live up to the expectations that you would an Australian player. But since that time, since Lindsay, his father, has not been the Australian coach, Andrew Gaze has really come to life. In the meantime, the 36ers score again, 95-79 they lead.
And Michael Mackay has certainly come to life for the 36ers with 12 points for this quarter for a total of 22. And we see that long pass being attempted inside underneath to Andrew Gaze again. The play has worked because he was fouled underneath the basket and he goes to the foul line.
The 36ers just can't shrug Melbourne. They really have played extremely well here tonight. But they have to thank both Paul Stanley and Andrew Gaze. These two players have shot something like 60% of the entire team's score this season.
Well, Nigel Purchase has just left the floor. He's been replaced by the grasshopper, Peter Walsh, number 15. And last time that substitution was made, Mark Davis ran the 36ers into the fast break and scored quite a few baskets himself. So let's see if the 36ers can jump another gear, slip into overdrive, whilst Purchase is off the floor.
Well, whilst Purchase was doing some fairly strong work under the boards, he was taking some pretty ordinary shots, so it doesn't surprise me that he's been dragged. But whether Walsh is the correct substitution as Mackay puts another shot up and makes another one.
24 points, Michael Mackay.
He is hot. 14 points for the quarter, Michael Mackay. So that's a great statistic. 97-81, 16 points to margin. 1 minute and 45 points left. And an unbelievable foul called by referee Ian Turner. A foul called on Peter Alli. You see the shot there. Ian Stanley goes up. And, I beg your pardon, Paul Stanley, not Ian Stanley, the golfer. And, well, I'm glad if I could see much contact there. But what I can see makes no difference. It's Paul Stanley on the foul line. And scores Melbourne's 82nd point. Just over a minute and a half to go in this third quarter, which has been the best quarter of the game by a long way. Scores again, Stanley.
29 points now to Paul Stanley. But Michael Mackay has shot 7 from 7, 100% shooting for this quarter.
You can't do much better than that. Al Green also done a lot better in this quarter. Puts up a three-point attempt, misses. Ray Wood chases. Good pass, and this time the foul's called on Andrew Gaze. The crowd impressed with that call. Al Green gives him a little bit of a clap. You'll see the ball there to the pass comes from Ray Wood to Al Green, and Gaze just caught Green on the elbow. So Al Green will go to the foul line.
And that's 3 fouls to Andrew Gaze, and as the ball bounces around the rim for Al Green, takes his personal tally along to 22, and the 36ers along to 98.
Minute 15 to go in the third quarter. 99 now, the 36ers. And it's Ray Gordon bringing the ball down for Melbourne. To Gaze, to Stanley. Gaze and Stanley, they've dominated this game for the Tigers. Stanley looking for a player. Eventually finds Morse. Rebound tapped away from Mike Mackay's hands by his own player. Gives the ball to Gordon. There he is. Gaze on his own again. Puts the shot up. Makes the shot. Unbelievable talent this player has. So the West End 36ers now looking for their 100th point. The ball goes out to Ray Wood. A lovely pass into Davis. Has the foul called on him and makes the basket. That's 101 points. You'll see Ray Wood gets the ball there, feints, looks as though he's going to shoot, bang, pass to Davis. Davis the bounce, and up he goes, the foul called, makes the basket, and now gets the bonus shot. So the West End 36ers have increased this lead now to 17 points. They trailed at quarter time by 5, led by 11 at half time. Now lead by 17.
So it's the Tigers running the ball through their offence. Up goes the shot from that man Stanley, unsuccessful. And they'll set back and start again. So the smallest player on the floor, Raymond Wood, guarding Andrew Gaze. There's the screen, and over the top of the screen comes, but not successful. And Michael Mackay, 7 from 7 this quarter. Up he goes again. It's a foul, and a push foul has been called. And that was really a sucker foul. There's only 4 seconds left to play. Michael Mackay lifts up, sees that there's only 4 seconds to play, up for the 3-point shot, and underneath came the defensive player, pushed Michael Mackay to the floor. So Michael Mackay on the foul line.
In fact, I was about to criticise Mike Mackay because Ray Wood was down on the baseline calling for the ball. I didn't realise there was only 4 seconds to play. Mike Mackay did, and probably did the right thing, and has an extra point now added to the 36er score. 104-85, 4 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Been a great quarter this quarter. Makes the second shot.
27 points to Michael Mackay. That's 17 points for the quarter, and effectively did not miss with 1 shot. So at the 3-quarter break, it's 105 to the West End 36ers, leading the Melbourne Tigers on 85.
You're playing nice and hard with a lot of discipline. That's the one play.
Andrew Gaze, in that sort of form, anything's possible, but, and it's a big but, 20 points down with just 12 minutes of basketball to go. Now 22 points down, I doubt it.
And that's the out-of-bounds play that the 36ers set up. All the players are on one side of the court. The pass goes to our Green, who takes the drive right on the weak side. There's no one to help out on defence, and he makes a hard basket look easy.
Well, I don't believe it. Gaze has actually missed 2 shots in this quarter. It's been an outstanding performance by him. Davis in the key. Green doesn't give it to him, chooses Mike Mackay, and he continues exactly where he left off in the third quarter, where he took his tally to 27. It's now 29 points, Mike Mackay. Didn't start for the 36ers tonight, but gee, he's going to be there at the finish with a great performance. The shot from Clement misses, rebound to the 36ers. Mackay's away again. Pass into Green. Green will drive, and drives well. Right opening by the 36ers. Right opening by the 36ers. Stanley props and puts up the shot. It's 4 shots Melbourne has missed in the beginning of this last quarter. Long pass from Green, just out of the reach of Peter Ally, loses possession, and Coach Ken Cole, in fact Lindsay Gaze, calls a timeout for Melbourne.
Yeah, I wouldn't think Lindsay Gaze would be very happy with the way his team's playing. They've done really well. All of a sudden, this last quarter, they've gone run and gun. Let's see what Ken Cole's got to say.
Defensive work. But that's a good job on Stanley now, but he's going to jacket every opportunity he gets, you know, so just keep playing him hard and don't ever give him anything. The same with you. Ray's going to fire up at will, so you just got to, you're one out, you don't help anywhere, you don't sag, you just stay with him. When we get, that was a good penetration to find Al down the middle. They're trying to drop in and take that centre pass away, so you just keep running down the centre. If he's got it on the wing, Al, let him come down the wing, sprint down, but hold around about the top of the foul line, okay? Until he gets there, and then bust through and try and get the ball, because if you don't get it, Mark ought to get it on the trail, okay? Keep pushing. Listen, they're just gunning the thing up, and if they stay just gunning it up, stay with what we know. We want to score off good, solid, disciplined breaks. We don't want rubbish. Good stuff, and then if it's not there, get it out of the offense, okay? Get your stuff out of the offense. Come on.
So the 36ers very much aware now that the Tigers are just going to come down and blaze away. The coach is saying, let them blaze away, make it hard for them to take a shot, get the defensive rebound, and make it hard by running our fast break, make them play defence.
Purchase back on the court now for Melbourne. As the ball comes to Gordon, gives it off to Purchase.
Good defence, Michael Mackay. Two timing. That's good defence, Michael Mackay. And that's the good thing, is 10 seconds on the shot clock. The good thing about the 36ers is that if one player doesn't fire, everybody else can come in, and there is always somebody there that is going to do a good job. And tonight it's been Michael Mackay's turn. Lovely pass there to Mark Davis. Mark Davis with 24 points now. And certainly this last half has belonged to the 36ers.
It's 113-85 now. And Melbourne the slowest start in any quarter they've had tonight. The 36ers, a devastating opening to the last quarter. Purchase puts up another shot, and I wouldn't even contemplate looking at Nigel Purchase's figures, percentage for shooting. Stanley, different story.
The
Paul
36ers
Stanley
have shot 80%. Melbourne, until Stanley had just made that basket to take him along to 31, had made zero from 6 attempts in this last quarter. And beautiful give and go by Raymond Wood. That's where they pass the ball in, and the weak side guard cuts underneath the basket. So Raymond Wood now with 4 points takes the 36ers along to 115, leading the Melbourne Tigers on 87.
Melbourne looking to set it up again. Little doubt they won't get out of this game. Purchase finally makes one. It hasn't shot well tonight, but has done some good work on the boards. Mike Mackay pulls up for the shot, misses. Rare for him in the second half of this game. Lovely control from Peter Ally. The pass in for Davis, and again, Davis just not getting control of that ball. Almost had it, would have been directly under the basket. In turn, lost possession. Now it's Ray Gordon bringing the ball down for Melbourne. Hasn't done a lot tonight, Ray Gordon. Gaze stands there and says, who was the pass to, while Melbourne argue. Adelaide go into attack. Ray Wood misses with the shot though. The ball comes out. Gaze off to Stanley. It's been the Gaze and Stanley show for Melbourne. And I don't know what referee Ian Turner's called.
Ian Turner blew the whistle, was going to call a carrying the ball, then realised that it was the wrong decision, and to his credit, admitted that he had made the wrong decision and gave the ball back to Stanley.
There's a few football umpires perhaps who could take note of a decision like that.
Oh, I think that shows a lot of character, a lot of courage and good refereeing if you're prepared to realise that the whistle has been blown perhaps a bit too quickly and give the team the opportunity again.
Stanley again misses 3 shots in a row. The 36ers, the Melbourne Tigers miss, and eventually the foul is called on Andrew Gaze. You'll see Stanley drive all the way. Davis decides this rebound is mine, and look at the push in the back there from Andrew Gaze. So that's 4 fouls now for Andrew Gaze. Substitution made by Ken Cole. Mike Mackay off the court. Daryl Pearce back on the court. Ally looking for someone to give it to. Loses possession. Comes out to Gordon. Attempts to go all the way and does so very well. The minute I say someone hasn't done much, away they go. Pass from Green to Davis. Lovely pass. Davis makes no mistake.
28 points to Mark Davis. Great effort. And he has scored 13 in the first half and obviously 15 in the second half. And there's still 7 minutes and 26 seconds left to play.
Well, the skills from the Melbourne side haven't subsided at all as Stanley makes it again. 33 points for Paul Stanley.
Certainly there's no question that the Melbourne side have talent. Any team coached by Lindsay Gaze operates very well as a team, and they all are very disciplined players in offence because they know they can't afford to throw the ball away. As Al Green makes his 29th point for the 36ers, and they move along to 119, leading the Melbourne Tigers on 93.
Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Lynn, but I'd much prefer to have Ken Cole coaching my side than Lindsay Gaze. In fact, in years gone by, I've always questioned some of the decisions he's made. He couldn't find time to put players like Dr. Werner Lynn on a court in an Olympic Games, and instead put players like Peter Walsh on the court, and by your own admission, Walsh isn't much.
We certainly were discussing this earlier, and whilst there's no questioning the ability of Lindsay Gaze as a coach, he has been the doyen of basketball coaching for a great number of years. However, he has been criticised, and I've been one of his critics for perhaps some of the team selections. And Ken Cole and he, of course, are great adversaries. Their rivalry goes back many, many, many years. And Ken Cole, of course, was vying for the Australian coach position in years gone by. As the 36ers are 2-on-1 here, here's 2 points for Daryl Pearce, but Al Green goes all the way.
It's 121 now. 121 for the 36ers. You see the pass now. Green gets it, decides this is too easy, I'll beat this bloke. Goes all the way, makes the basket. Andrew Gaze, at the meantime, is flat on his back and has the travel called on him. Doesn't believe the call. Too bad, say the fans here. In fact, I don't believe Andrew Gaze has scored in this term. but he's been in devastating form tonight. A class player. But Melbourne now heading for a pretty heavy defeat. Early in the game it looked like they could cause the upset of the season. A bit different now though, as Pearce makes a big three-pointer. Now in fact they're getting beaten pretty easily. They're 31 points down.
And that's 13 points to Daryl Pearce.
Mark Gaze with the ball now, gives it off to Gordon. Stanley comes through on the screen and he'll shoot, but misses. And so there's a big pass again from Nelson to Green. And well done, young Ray Gordon. Took the ball off Green. Not too many players could do that. Let's see if he can finish it off. Decides to give it to Stanley. Stanley doesn't let him down with a nice fall-away jump shot.
33 points to Stanley. And that was a hard shot to make over the top of Bill Jones, because Jones did everything right in defence.
So Melbourne hasn't given up. They're going to get beaten, but they fought it right down to the wire, and in fact are in very good position to score 100 points as Pearce misses. Nelson, strong rebound, turns, chopping foul call. So Dwayne Nelson will go to the foul line, and any side that can score 100 points against the West End 36ers, Lynn, can in fact play basketball.
Oh, quite right. The 36ers have got a very strong defence, a tough defence. The Tigers haven't actually shot all that well in this game, but they're still scoring at a rate of 50%, and that's good scoring in anyone's language. Their shot selection is very good. In fact, last night against Perth, they shot 115 points and still lost, so they are very much an offensive team, but their rebounding lets them down a little bit.
One should remember that last night Paul Stanley didn't play in that game against Perth. As the shot comes up from Mark Gaze, Pearce attacked him on that shot. Al Green comes away with the ball, props and puts it up on his own. Makes no mistake.
33 points, Al Green.
127 to 95. 4.5 minutes to go as Andrew Gaze finally scores in this quarter. And that's 37 points to Andrew Gaze. And I bet you his father wishes he had a few more like that. But at the other end, Pearce shows why he's in the Australian team as well. Andrew Gaze blasts his players for not guarding Pearce. Pearce was just all on his own. The easiest of shot with no pressure at all to make. And took full advantage. Now it's Clement. Drives, misses. Jones out of court. Be a Melbourne ball. Mark Davis off the court now. Will Jones on the court, David Spears on the court. And now Coach Lindsay Gaze is going to try something.
He's mass substitutions.
He's brought two players on who haven't been on the court all night. He's finally given his son a rest, which is well and truly deserved. Gaze has been a great player tonight. Now what will the 36ers do? Go all out and make it a percentage win? Mark Gaze loses possession. Green now. Good guarding from Gordon, but Green every which way you like. Misses the shot. Nelson, obvious foul there on Peter Walsh. And Lynn, I've got to ask you, if you were coaching Melbourne, would you even bother? And I'm not being cruel to Peter Walsh, but airfares aren't cheap. And I wonder whether this bloke should ever be on the plane.
I have to say to you, Andrew, that in all the years that I've watched Grasshopper play, I haven't been one of the fortunate few to ever see him play a good game.
I mean, you don't want to sit here and bag a player, but the guy just doesn't have the ability to play at this level, and you do wonder. I know he's tall. I mean, he's 7 foot tall, but hell, if I was 7 foot tall, I'd want to be a real good player. I mean, you should be if you're 6 inches bigger than anyone else on the court.
Certainly, Peter doesn't have a lot of rebounding ability, and his shooting skills leave a lot to be desired. And he doesn't do very much on defence, but perhaps he's good on the bench, encouraging the rest of the team.
Might as well kill him right off and tell him to get a suntan as well, because he's pretty white. But at the other end, anyway, Melbourne lose the ball. So it's the 36ers away. Jones runs through Gordon. Well, Gordon was looking for that. Walsh, on the other hand, does something, gets a rebound.
And the Melbourne coaching staff on their feet, abusing the referees for no call.
Well, Gordon had been asking for that early, and Pearce, gee, attacked that shot as well and put Ian Roos to the ground. You see the pass comes from right across the court. Rouse sitting down here near the baseline, and Pearce comes at him, goes pow, knocks him to the ground. We only hit him on his hand, so Rouse in fact might have made it look a bit worse than it was. But didn't take the advantage of his good fortune. He missed with the first shot. 97 to 132. Rouse makes the second. So that's his first point for the match. David Spear on the court for the 36ers, as is Peter Sexton. Bill Jones, Darryl Pearce and Dwayne Nelson, the other players. Spear gives it out to Pearce. Sexton on his own, sells a dummy to no one. Nelson is being pushed out of court by Walsh. So I suppose Walsh is getting us back. He's done two things now.
It's the Melbourne Tigers. I can't really say anything to that, Andrew.
Mark Oliver with the ball for Melbourne. Gives it off to Walsh. Walsh does three things. He's on the stats sheet. The shot comes up from Rouse, misses. Sexton chases the rebound. Spear was calling from it. Pass into Sexton. Oh, and he creams Ian Rouse.
That was unlucky for Peter Sexton. He passed the ball off and then received it back, and he wasn't really expecting it to come back, and he had nowhere to go. So whilst the charging foul was called on Peter Sexton, he was a little bit unlucky there because the ball perhaps shouldn't have come back to him.
I know that sort of play gets you the result when you have the foul called on you, Lynn, but I wonder how many times you want to have players running at full speed crashing into you just for the sake of getting a foul call on you.
Yeah, what the players do is actually post up. They use their forearms to protect themselves, so what often looks to be fairly substantial bumps isn't as tough as that, as Peter Walsh attempts to block that shot.
He did block that shot, Lynn.
Oh, he did not get a hand to it. Okay. But I do say that Walsh did intimidate Dwayne Nelson there.
And another foul called on Peter Sexton there as he was hustling Ray Gordon.
It's a bit difficult for Peter Sexton. There's 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to play. He's only come onto the floor in this last couple of minutes. The other players on the floor have had the benefit of being on the floor earlier. He's coming in cold, but it is good experience for him. And Peter Sexton, he is a good player for the 36ers now. He's going to be a lot better player in the years to come.
Well, it should make players hungry. The kid's only 20 years old. He's got the ability. Unfortunately, at this point in time, there are players with more ability than he, as David Spears scores 2 points. But if he's only getting 2 minutes, then next week he's going to want more. He's going to do more on the training track, and he'll get there.
And the shooting percentages this quarter, the 36ers are shooting 61. The Tigers, with their shot selection, hasn't been anywhere near as good as it has earlier. Top rebound by Dwayne Nelson, and the Tigers are only shooting 28.
Spear now with the ball. 1:20 to go. The 36ers 134, leading by 36 points. Sexton almost goes the shot, then gives it to Spear. Spear again. David Spear 2 from 2. Ball comes out to Gordon. Gordon, long pass over to Oliver. Oliver only just come onto the court for Melbourne. Gaze, Walsh, crowd cheers.
Now what is Walsh doing that far away from the basket? He's 7'2", and he's standing out behind the top of the key.
You would think it's someone who's had that much experience. I mean, the guy is 32, he's been around for a while. He should know better. Now, will Sexton go all the way? He does, but not successful. Dwayne Nelson grabs hold of the ring to stop himself from running straight into it. He was that far in the air, and of course loses possession immediately, as it's now Rouse with the ball for Melbourne. 34 seconds to go. Walsh, 6 things for the night. Gives the ball to Gaze. The pass was good, and so was the shot. So 101. So a good effort from Melbourne. They've scored 100 against a very strong 36er side. Good pass from Jones. Lovely pass to Pearce, and Jones goes over the top, and that was a lovely bit of work.
Beautiful move by Jones.
So 7 seconds to go. Crowd count it down. Will they get a chance for a shot? It'll be Sexton to take the last, lays it up, makes the basket. The shot clock runs out, the game's over. Sexton scores right on the siren. The West End 36ers 140. As it turns out, easy winners over the Melbourne Tigers 101. That's 39-point victory to the West End 36ers.
Lindsay, up until quarter time, I thought your team did very well. What happened?
Well, I think we lasted a bit longer than that. I rated it until about 4 minutes before half-time when our condition ran out. Whilst we had good condition, whilst we were in reasonable shape, then we were very competitive. But as soon as our condition died, well, then the rest of our game fell apart. But the shooting went off, the defence deteriorated, and of course we're never in a contest on the boards.
Right. Mark Davis, Bill Jones, very good players.
Well, all of them. I thought that there was a very well balanced effort by the Adelaide team tonight, but where the margin is created, of course, is on the boards. Anytime we made an error, they gathered it, got the transition game going, and we couldn't cope with the speed of the boys. And I thought the Adelaide team had an excellent shooting night.
Lindsay, just how good are the 36ers?
Well, we said before the game started that we felt that the Adelaide team has the best material.
Can they please use the aisles? The seats are sitting on, not walking. Thank you.
We'll start that question again.
Fair enough. Like I said...
No, I'll start again. Lindsay, just how good are the 36ers?
Well, I said to our boys before the start of the game that I thought that they've got the best material in the league. I thought they had the best material in the league last year, and of course in the final they just didn't quite make it there, but I repeat that again, that Adelaide's got the best material, and I think that they're playing a little bit better collectively this year, and they would certainly be my choice for favourites.
Lindsay, guys, thank you very much.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks a lot, mate.
No worries.
Solid effort in the end, yeah.
Well, Ken, almost like two different games here tonight. A close encounter in the first half. Second half, one-way traffic, you wiped them off the boards.
I thought they played well early, and we probably just wore them down, but the guys played fairly well again. We got off to a tentative start, which is a bit surprising, but once the bench guys came in and made a contribution, everything went well.
Andrew Gay seemed to find so much room and hardly missed in the first three quarters.
Well, he's an excellent player. Good players tend to make difficult tasks look easy, and he's a great player, and I thought he did very well. We just wore them down.
Well, there's not a whole lot you can say about a 39-point win, but the next 3 weeks, crucial.
Well, I hope that it's a good indication that they beat Brisbane last week and we beat them by 39, so yeah, the next 3 weeks, if we can remain undefeated at home over the next 3 games here, we're a good shot at first or second for sure.
Good luck, Ken.
Thanks very much.